Hi guys, it's Tamara, the Judeo-Christian medium. I am here tonight with Freddie Mercury. Oh my God, guys, let me welcome him in. He's been here. We just listened to his Live Aid concert at Wembley Stadium from 1985. Hi, Freddie. He's been here, but I just want to introduce him to you guys. I've been talking to him for a while. He actually came up in my last video. He just made a quick appearance. Oh, wow. He's sitting in the corner like a praying mantis ready to attack. He's got his outfit on from Wembley Stadium. It's a wife beater tank top and the tight white pants. I remember that look. I love that look with the motorcycle belt. Oh my God. It's just, his energy is so crazy, you guys. He is Archangel Gabriel, as Elvis was Archangel Gabriel. Freddie's birthday was September 5th. My brother, I've never said this, my older brother Freddie, who passed, he's Archangel Gabriel. His birthday was September 2nd. Keanu Reeves' birthday is September 2nd. He's Archangel Gabriel. It's very, they're similar around, not exactly, but in spirit time, close to the same age. Earth time is so different. He's been making fun of everything here. Just how he says we're so nitty gritty into like, he didn't want me to put the date today in case I said it wrong. He's like, enough with the that's what he's doing. I have so many messages I wrote down, but he's just, and it's so chaotic. His energy is so chaotic. And as I was writing, it just got so chaotic. I have stuff all through the margins. Thank God I'm yelling. I'm in my apartment. I can say it's Super Bowl Sunday. Can I say that? He's like, yeah. Oh my God. So, where do I start? There's just so much. So if you're new to my channel, like I said, my name is Tamara. I'm a Judeo-Christian medium. I've been a medium my whole life. When I came out of the spiritual closet publicly, I did that through reading angel cards. I bumped into Jesus and talked to him and my whole team, who I'll introduce you to. But anyway, through my own current DNA and my spiritual DNA, Jesus has told me that I am Jewish and Christian. I've always been that. I'm a medium, and Jesus and I had a lifetime together, which I'll talk to you about in the future, where we were both Jewish / Christian, if you want to call it, because he has just created that. He's saying, I didn't create that, other people create that. We'll get into that at another time. That's a little introduction about me. You can check out my other videos if you want more of an explanation, and I will be making a video someday just about that. So before we continue this interview, Freddie's like, whatever the F you want to call it. He's like, you can call it a mediumship. You can call it channeling. He's like, F off. It doesn't matter. She's talking to me. Okay, this is how it's going to be. All right, let me do a quick prayer to my team. Please feel free to pray along with me. This might be an introduction to my team to some of you. They've all chosen one word. They are much more than that, but let's get started. So I'm going to pray by thanking them. I'd like to thank God, indescribable energy coming from my right, big, bright, white light. Thank you, God. Thank you for life. God connects to Jesus. Jesus is calming me down. He is, it's a white light, silver, gold. Jesus, thank you for peace. Jesus is very indigo. Jesus connects over to Mother Mary, who sits at my right hand shoulder. Thank you, Mother Mary. Thank you for comfort. She connects over to Father Joseph. Thank you, Father Joseph, for stability. She's very indigo. Crossing over here, Father Joseph is white, indigo, gold, silver, and today he's green. He's in a teaching energy, and he connects over to Archangel Michael, who's very bright indigo. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Forgive me for closing my eyes, guys. This is how I connect to them. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you for protection. Archangel Michael connects over to Metatron, who's laughing already. Thank you, Metatron. Thank you for entertainment. As we go over to this side, we go into the reds, yellows, oranges, and just to let you all know, these are all galactic beings and angelic beings. These are Pleiadians, Arcturians, and tall whites. On my right hand side, we have more of a heavy tall white influence going in through the center of a Pleiadian influence, and going over to my left hand side is a more Arcturian influence. So thank you, Archangel Metatron. Thank you for entertainment. Archangel Metatron connects over to Archangel Eric Medhus. Thank you, Archangel Eric Medhus, for connection. Archangel Eric Medhus has branched off from Archangel Uriel. He is now spending his time connecting us to the other side. So everything that I've said they are, pray if that's what you need. So if you'd like to connect to a loved one, pray to Archangel Eric Medhus. Thank you. I could not do this without you or any of you, but thank you. Archangel Eric Medhus connects over to Archangel Gabriel, who sits right in front of me, who is Freddie Mercury, my brother Freddie, Elvis Presley, the singer is, and others, and also a younger relative in my family who I cannot mention because he's still alive and due to privacy readings. And Freddie Mercury is shaking his head. He's like, yes, privacy. We're going to talk about that. So thank you, Archangel Gabriel. And Archangel Eric is very, you know, he's a part of Uriel. He's very indigo. He connects to Gabriel, who's, he's very red, but he also is orange and yellow. which makes sense because Freddie Mercury liked those colors too. And, you know, they all are surrounded by white light also. So it's hard to explain this all in one video. Watch my other videos if you'd like further explanation. But Archangel Gabriel connects over to past Michael to Sandalphon. So now we're going into an outer layer. And guys, this is the rainbow. It connects from God. It swirls down in energies and auras down to earth. We're all connected in different ways. Well, some of us are connected to this energy. Other people are connected to a reptilian energy. You can check out my other videos about that. But this is where the rainbow connection is, the rainbow bridge that connects over to the other side. This is where that comes from. So now we're connecting over to Archangel Sandalphon, who's connecting out. And Archangel Sandalphon is very white. Thank you, Archangel Sandalphon. Thank you for intelligence. And Archangel Sandalphon connects over to Archangel Raphael. It's very violet. Thank you, Archangel Raphael. Thank you for healing. Archangel Raphael connects over to Archangel Azrael. Thank you, Archangel Azrael. Thank you for organization. Now it's going into purples, white, purple, indigo. And now we come to Archangel Jophiel. Thank you, Archangel Jophiel, for magical beauty. She is gold, silver, white, indigo, violet. She connects over to Archangel Uriel. Thank you, Archangel Uriel, who is indigo. And I'm Archangel Uriel. Thank you for my mission. Archangel Uriel connects over to Archangel Zadkiel. Now we're going into the colors of the rainbow. We're going into yellow, green, yellow, orange, red. Thank you, Archangel Zadkiel. Thank you for balance. Zadkiel connects over to Raguel. Thank you, Raguel. Thank you for swagger. Oh, sorry, Jeremiah. He like popped in my hand. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you for wildness. Jeremiah's very yellow. And he connects to Raguel. Thank you, Raguel, for swagger. I forgot Raguel before, so tonight I was like, Raguel. Thank you, Raguel, for swagger. Raguel connects over to Archangel Chamuel. Thank you, Chamuel, for calm. Chamuel is very light blue. Chamuel is connecting to Ezekiel, who is like corn colored. Thank you, Ezekiel, for nutrition. And Ezekiel connects over to Archangel Haniel, who's like a light pink. Thank you, Archangel Haniel. Thank you for sleep. A lot of people pray to Archangel Haniel to help you sleep. And Haniel connects over to Archangel Daniel, who's very red. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for humor. So this is my team. They are the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and the Tall Whites. And you might not have any idea what I'm talking about, but this is the Galactic Federation. They are a group of archangels and galactic beings. When God created humanity, he got together with the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Tall Whites, and the Reptilians to create humanity on Earth. They were already in existence. You can watch my other videos to learn more about that. But this group is Arcturian, Pleiadian, and Tall White. They make up the Galactic Federation. They are a lot of our leaders in the world, and the Galactic Federation, the main purpose is to fight spiritual warfare. And yes, we are at spiritual warfare right now. So I'm getting thirsty, you guys. Let me just, excuse me for a second. Okay, so now that the introductions are here, let's get to Freddie Mercury. And he's just looking like very seriously, because he wants to talk, but we have notes. I also do automatic writing. So I've been praying and talking to him. He wants me to show you the candle he picked. Oh, it's kind of heavy. I've used this candle before. I've filmed with this. It's Yankee Candle, and it's Midsummer's Night, and there's like a little moon here. It's a very masculine candle. It smells really good. It kind of does remind me of, oh, very heavy. My back. It kind of reminds me of colognes from the 80s, like Polo from Ralph Lauren. Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's why I picked it. It's very 80s. Oh, and now Archangel Michael is talking. Sorry, this is chaotic, but this is how the galactics are often. And so if this seems chaotic, if it's not for you, I understand, but all of these energies are talking to me. And yeah, so I'm gonna just try to concentrate. Ooh, I'm getting warm. That's Archangel Michael's bit. He wants me to do that every time. It's like, let me just rub my back, sorry. So it's like Archangel Sandalphon, who is, yeah, so sorry guys, they're all talking. And I'm in New York, so we can hear the sirens too. Yeah, so yeah, Archangel Sandalphon, Admiral Ashtar. If you guys are into this, you've probably heard of him. They said that there's like an Admiral Akbar that they downloaded Star Wars to George Lucas. So he is a take on Admiral Ashtar, and they download all that stuff as messages for us. But anyway, oh, sorry guys, my back is bothering me today. Anyway, let's get to, they're all quieting down right now so we can get to the notes. Freddie Mercury. Oh my God. He's a drama queen, you guys. He's like, he's with Elvis. They're laughing. And now David Bowie's here. They're all connected. They're all friends. He's like, darling. That's why I picked the name Queen. So Freddie Mercury, when he was here, he was a medium, as is this whole group. And when they come here, are mediums in some capacity. He didn't talk to and channel people like I do, but he channeled music. So, okay, let's get into the details. He was born September 5th, 1946. And he's like, oh, I'm so old. And he died November 24th, 1991, at the age of 45. So, and he died of AIDS. So, that was, I feel bad because I was a fan of Freddie Mercury, but that was like a really rough year for me. My father, who is Archangel Sandalphon, passed away that year. He passed away. I graduated from college, and within 2 weeks I started my career as a flight attendant. This is 1991, and Freddie died that November. It was a crazy time for me, and I'm sorry that I didn't recognize that. I was crazy busy, and sorry if I talk about myself, unfortunately. So I'm part of this group, and they talk to me like friends. We know each other, so that's just how it is. Freddie's like, he's like, don't apologize, darling. Okay. Okay. So Freddie was British, as many of you know. He's like, just look at my teeth. So although he was British, it's funny, I talk to Jesus to connect to everyone, like he connects me. So Jesus and I were arguing because Jesus is like, Freddie's Middle Eastern, and Freddie, which I'm Middle Eastern, Armenian, I'm Armenian and Celtic. So Jesus shows me all these connections. Now, if I talk about someone's bloodline or religion, it doesn't mean that I'm favoring that. It's just there's a bigger plan when people come through certain bloodlines, and in some of my videos I talk about that, and it's for different reasons. And they've shown me, I'd have to make videos about it, but they show me these bloodlines and they make sense to me, but it's hard to put into words. But he's from like a galactic bloodline, and sometimes our bloodlines get crossed and galactics come back and they try to help their bloodline. Some people call it breaking generational curses. Those are videos for another day. But so Jesus was telling me that, he's Middle Eastern, and then they had me watch Bohemian Rhapsody, the film. And I was like, turned it off and started talking to them. I'm like, his family's Indian. They're from Zanzibar. And they're like, no, oh my goodness, what your family must have gone through. So, there's been so much upheaval. His family's originally they're Persian. They're from Iran. Iran, today has upheaval. They had a revolution. They've had several revolutions. They had a big one in the 80s, but his family is Zoroastrian. Jesus is like, it's a very nice religion, but guys, the conflicts that are going on now have been going on, and his family wanted to keep being Zoroastrian, so they became refugees from Iran to India, and then India to England. So lots of drama in his bloodline. And so guys, you can also see why many of us, when we're here, we just want to party. He's saying that, he's like, we want to party, because it's like, he's like, we want freedom. So much oppression through the ages, and we'll get to that too. And guys, a lot of what I'm saying is like, he and I have been talking, so it's his messages, just to be clear. It's just like, not every time I say, you know, Jesus has talked to me, but this is mostly Freddie too. Okay. So I don't know if I always think Archangel Gabriel for acceptance. That's the word that Archangel Gabriel has asked to be. So I want you all to think of Freddie Mercury and think of his energy as acceptance. Each of these archangels do so much more, but that's just to simplify things. We can see, and Freddie's like, oh, that got me in trouble. It did, because of boundaries. Archangel Gabriel, you know, you may say like, why did Elvis have trouble? Why did Freddie Mercury have trouble? It's boundaries. Archangel Gabriel is also very loving and very talented. So it can be, he said, a deadly mix. It can be a deadly mix, which we've seen. So, you don't want to get too negative, is what he's saying. Yes, and focus on the, you know, the negative. It's just the challenges that Archangel Gabriel has when Archangel Gabriel comes into human form. So yes, no boundaries. He wrote no glove. You know that expression, no glove, no love. Yeah. They're all singing, he's a cool rider. I'm sorry guys, stop. So yeah, that got him into trouble. So like I said, he was a musical medium. He was downloaded the name of the band Queen. He was downloaded his last name to be Freddie Mercury, and he was downloaded the songs. So when I say downloaded, he was downloaded this information from him, his higher self, which is Archangel Gabriel, and this whole team, with a big Archangel Metatron is entertainment, so he's big into it, and the others add in, and I'll give more specificity in each video for, you know, if they ask me to. So He was also very artistic, very creative. He graduated from Isleworth Polytechnic Art College because he's a Virgo. He had to get his degree. But that wasn't his true calling, as we know. But he had that organized, analytical mind. He was very into fashion, perfectionistic in it, in fashion and music. He worked hard, partied harder, but he was not fated to party that hard, which he feels bad about because he left this earth early. It was not an exit point for him. It was a mistake. And he does blame himself. He did get mixed up with the wrong crowd. His frenemy Paul was a bad influence on him. And he did the dark reptilian thing, which many starseeds have had done to them. I've had this done to me. Paul, his frenemy, used him for his talent, a place to live, friends, benefits, connection, money, and created a barrier between him and the people he loved. And he played on Freddie's emotions, which were loneliness. So that was something Freddie experienced as a child. His parents had moved to England. He stayed back in India, went to school. He's like St. Peter's, which is a connection to me. We'll talk about that at another time, but it's just amazing how it all connects. But he was lonely. When children are left in those positions, the parents think his parents were loving. They were thinking, they're doing the best for him. And they were, except he's a very sensitive child and he felt very lonely, and that stayed with him, and Paul played on that. So that's what dark reptilians do. I've made videos about dark reptilians. I will make more videos, but if you're new to my channel, think of a dark reptilian being in the category of a toxic person, a narcissist. But these are their tactics, and Freddie's not blaming Paul fully. He has a mind of his own. He loved sensation. Archangel Gabriel. When Archangel Gabriel is here, that is a weakness. So if some of you want to think of it as also just a dark reptilian energy that preys on humanity, like the people think of it as the devil. The devil got to him through his weaknesses, his sensation seeking, and his fear of loneliness. So why am I emphasizing this so hard? It's because these are messages to you all. When Jesus was here, he was a messenger of God. He was not trying to create a whole new religion. He was trying to give messages like I'm giving now, like Archangel Gabriel, Freddie Mercury is giving, to help. Like Freddie Mercury is saying, like, think of it as like when you listen to his music, it's a gift from this group. they are always trying to give like positive messages, positive music, or just, you know, it might not all feel like positive music. It could just help you connect to an emotion, and also help humanity evolve and to, you know, it's spiritual warfare to combat the dark, heavy, repressive, negative energy. Yeah, imagine a life without music. So his partner, he had a partner, Mary Austin, partner and best friend. They were together from 1970 to 1976. That is a soulmate of his. So you can watch other videos of mine. I explain the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame. She was a soulmate of his. She's Pleiadian. And then he, as we all know, Freddie Mercury was bisexual. That was his mission, a part of his mission when he was here. And his twin flame was Jim Hutton, and that was from 1985 to 1991. Very short-lived, unfortunately, but Freddie is saying he's lucky he got to spend at least a little time with him. Some people never break out of their wrong path. You know, they're not on their mission. They don't meet their twin flame, or, you know, they don't, maybe they met them, they don't stay with them. And it's usually because one of you is not on your mission. And thank God Freddie got back on his mission and he became friends again with Mary, his Pleiadian, and his partner, Jim Hutton. So also to let you know, so Freddie Mercury is Archangel Gabriel, and he is Pleiadian, Arcturian, and tall white. And so his twin flame is the same, and his twin flame is Archangel Gabriel. And you can see how they fit together. Because in that lifetime, Jim was like more low-key and stable, and they just fit. So when they were coming up with the name Mercury, he's like, I'm Mercurial, darling. I'm trying to talk like him. When he talks to me, guys, it's really sweet. It may not be coming across the way I'm saying it, but he just is like, darling, you're such a charmer. But it's really warm and sweet. So he's also been showing me things in my life. So I will make videos about this. I made one video about some of my metaphysical spiritual experiences as a medium from birth to 10, but he is showing me things that have happened to me. And so since my last near-death experience, I opened a door to them. And while I had that experience, they were showing me basically a life review, and that has continued. And Freddie was helping me, and he showed me this scene. He showed me this person from college. Like I said, I graduated from 1991, so that was his heyday. And he showed me this guy who I haven't thought about. He was in my friend group, and they helped me remember his name even, which is very hard to do. And they had me look him up. And guys, I couldn't believe it. So this guy was really suave. He dated my friend. He could be a jerk at times. He became a jerk later, but he just wanted to show me this. It's a very hard to explain reason why he showed me. A lot of it has to do with my naivete, and showing me how galactic beings, many of you would find this so hard to believe that a galactic being, Archangel Gabriel, could come to Earth and be naive. But that is unfortunately a side effect, because he was so, he's like, darling, don't make me sound perfect. I don't want to do that. It's just like hard to explain, but just very open boundaries, loving, loves to connect. He said when he sang, he connected with every person in that audience. One thing that bothers him is that, I'm sorry, we're flitting from subject to subject, but he's talking to me. He said one thing that bothers him is that people were like, oh, Freddie would come out and get everybody on his side and he'd own the stage. And he's like, no, darling, those aren't my words. That's not how I experienced it. I experienced connecting with each soul as I performed. Okay, so he said he couldn't really explain that to people. He couldn't explain a lot of what he was feeling to people, but that's how it was. Okay, so back to this guy. So this guy, who was like a big deal in college, he is attractive, from Italy. He was in his 30s when we were not even 21. Like, you turn 21 in America in your junior year, so it's 4 years of college, so that's 3 years in. Most people turn 21. He never told us, and so they do things like that just to make points and, you know, prove to me who they are, and that this is real, and that they have real messages. And I don't want to get too into that. That's just kind of he showed me an apartment that I lived in college, and I lived in Salem, Massachusetts, in a historical home, and he showed me the person who lived there was a fisherman, how that was connected to me. I ended up seeing a ghost apparition. That's a story for another day. And okay, so let's get more into the notes here. And there's a similarity with his family ending up in England, because my family, part of my family on my father's side, is Celtic from Ireland, and they ended up in England too before coming here. And you know, he showed me our similarities and connections, especially, obviously, my brother Freddie is named Freddie, and Archangel Gabriel, and we have similar backgrounds. Like, my mother's side of the family fled from persecution from Armenia, where there was an actual genocide, and then my father's family fled from Ireland. So there's that connection. So it's interesting. He's saying because of his family bloodline and how they had fled so many situations, even though he experienced a deep loneliness, he actually also had a fear of commitment. Because commitment isn't just relationships. You know, souls that come from that background, you can feel, you carry on the energies. Like, you know, they're showing me like a blanket. So even though he's Archangel Gabriel, when he came to Earth, he's given this coat of his ancestral DNA. And the fear of commitment comes from, it's like saying, like putting up your hand and just saying, oh, I don't need it, I don't want it. It's about like settling down. And it comes from, you know, the energy of like when your ancestors would settle down, they'd get kicked out, property stolen, pushed out, which that's the reason usually. Freddie is saying, you know, this whole like religion thing is usually an excuse for people just to take what you have. And Freddie and Jesus are saying together that when you follow the positive principles of certain religions, and this is why sometimes Jesus has favored the Jewish people, the Zoroastrians, it's not because they're saying, it's not because they're saying like they're better than you. It's a system of checks and balances, and it's about whoever is following the teachings of the masters who have given the positive teachings and messages. Whoever follows it the most tends to be the most successful. Now, this has gone on through the centuries, and you know, there's positive and negative. So who's following the messages more, which happens to be oftentimes the Jewish people and the Zoroastrians. It's just like they got the message a little bit clearer and a little bit more. So if you look at like a Muslim culture, I will make a whole video on that. They have many positive teachings, but it is about the checks and balances. And for the most part, when you follow and you have generations following the positive messages, people are going to be more successful. When people are successful and especially talented, so if they're galactic and successful, and that keeps pushing on in their bloodline, tremendous success comes from that, and with that comes jealousy. And instead of the jealous people thinking, well, maybe I should figure out how this group got successful, it's more like, well, they're different than us. How are they different? That's not right, you know, war. And often this is so making it so simplistic, but okay, we'll get into that in another video, but this is looking at it from this very large perspective that they have. So he had that coat of fear of commitment, which he didn't know he had, and his frenemy Paul played on that. And as a child, he didn't fit in because this group, like most starseeds, galactic beings, are somewhere on the spectrum of autism. Freddie definitely was, and he was a musical savant. He couldn't read music. He couldn't read it well. He didn't really have to because he just was connected to this team and just he was music. And he had ADHD, so that he didn't really fit in. So that now we're having a second layer of the fear of commitment, because not fitting in creates also now a layer of distrust. So we have that. And then he came here to entertain, to be loving, to connect. So there's this battle going on. And who can see that the best? Well, surprisingly, the dark reptilian energy, I haven't really explained that in this video. It hangs out in the 4th dimension. You can check out my other videos to figure that out. It feeds negative talk to and negative energy to humanity. But there are dark reptilian people have chosen to go to the dark side, like his frenemy Paul. And guys, they can, surprisingly, they can really see your light and they see what you struggle with. And Paul could see that and really played on it. So he, going back to his childhood, he tried so hard to fit in, which overstimulated his nervous system. Galactic beings trying really hard to fit in, especially with reptilians who make up 50, this is regular, well, reptilians and dark reptilians make up 50% of the population. They get into fights, or they could get into fights, people pleasing, getting into fights with authority, or people pleasing with authority. From their perspective, it's the different side of the same coin. Luckily, Freddie had his music, and he's saying my brother Freddie could have played music too. He did play the tuba for a while. That's a story for another day. So his family being Parsi from Persia, Iranian, Iranian, but being Zoroastrian, it just became a huge battle with against, so Zoroastrian, not fighting to not become Islamic. That was the big battle. Very similar to Jewish people not being under the thumb of the Romans or becoming Islamic. Yeah, they were granted refuge by Hindu king Jati Rama, and there's a whole bloodline there. He felt for illegal immigrants and took that group in. So I wrote down here, we talked about my Armenian DNA and how close that is. There's Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Iran, and yeah. So I won't get into all of that. I will at another time. But he just really talked to me about this, and he would like you all to do this kind of research yourself, try to figure out, you know, if you're a star seed, what kind of star seed you are. He was very into astrology. He created the coat of arms for the band Queen, that mixed with his art. And there was a lot he wasn't telling people, but he was trying to figure all that out too. And he brought me back to, after I graduated from college, I fell in with a group of Middle Eastern people from everywhere that went to these small dance clubs in Boston. And he said that's why I was so attracted to it, and I loved it. And you know, Boston is not very how could I say it? It's not multicultural. So, you know, a lot of people, I was young, and a lot of people were just like, they thought I was going through a fad and that I was just trying to be different. And they'd ask me like, why do you go to that place and hang out with, you know, they just call them foreigners, and they're like, you know, do you think they're better? Excuse me, let me get a drink here. Like, do you think they're better than you know, Americans? And it wasn't that. I mean, I was very impressed with, like, the men would wear nice suits, and we had a lot of fun, and they'd buy champagne and stuff like that, because, you know, a lot of them were from wealthy families. That was fun, but it was more than that. I felt this, like, I couldn't explain it to people because I didn't analyze it. I felt at home with these Middle Eastern people, and the music and the traditions, and, you know, I really started hanging out with them, and I dated some, and the food, and it just, you know, Jesus is saying yes, like back to not my own DNA now, but to the time where we were together, and many lifetimes. So he was talking about that, and hopefully this will help you all. I know many of you do research your own DNA, and, you know, recommendation. I've never done this, so I'm a medium, but, you know, I wouldn't mind doing it. I've had all kinds of things done, but, you know, going to a very good, like, past life regressionist, and just investigating your DNA. They're all in favor of that, and Jesus is saying yes. And, you know, 23andMe, and what's the other one? Ancestry. Yeah, they recommend that. So what he told me, guys, this next thing I'm going to tell you, like, blew my mind. Talking to him, talking to them, being a medium, I agreed to be a mouthpiece, to come on here to talk about everything. And it gets tiring. And I was feeling last night just very drained and like, this work is tiring. I was talking to Jesus and he's like, yeah. And then when I was writing just messages from Freddie, he said to me, he's like, darling, where you were laying over. So I used to lay over as a flight attendant in London all the time, and I had a routine. And he's just like, darling, said to me, oh, where you laid over? I was there. And I was like, oh, okay, Freddie, yeah, you lived in London, okay. And he's like, no, I was there. And I was like, okay, you know, I understand, you know, you lived in London, I laid over in London, you know, Dolores O'Riordan passed in London, and I was near her hotel. I understand it's a connection, right? And he let it go. And then last night he had me look up his apartment. And guys, these are these moments that I just wish you all have, and I know some of you do, of just, you know, when you connect to spirit and it's so obvious. So he had me look up his apartment, okay? And it's at 12 Stratford Terrace. And I was just like, okay. And I just thought it would be in London. You guys, so I would do my routine. I would sleep when we got in, and I would get up and I would take the same route because I just loved it. I would go through the center. First of all, we laid over in Kensington, and I would go through the center of the park, and I would do a walk, jog, whatever I had the energy for. And then I would end up coming back through this really special road in London. It's called Kensington Palace Gardens Road, okay? And it's where all of the, oh my goodness, the embassies are. It's beautiful. It's like it's tree lined, and all the sound is blocked out. You can really like see the moon from there. It's really special. It has like black iron gates, but they let people walk through. There's guards, but they let you walk through. And every time I walk through, I experience this incredible feeling where I feel like I'm going to pass out. It feels like intense nostalgia. And so, you know, I've talked to Jesus about this, and he's like, you had a lifetime there, you live near there. That was part of it, but they kind of saved this information for me communicating with Freddie. So there were times where, excuse me, I just need a little lip balm. Just getting a little dried out. So there were times when I just was overwhelmed with emotion, and Freddie said it's for me, it's like being on a burial ground. It's like as a medium, and I thought it was like because it's right behind Kensington Palace. Like when you walk by, up until I would say, like, not really the best with time, maybe 6 months after Meghan and Harry got married, they put up, not very well, but they just put up like some board where it was like cardboard where you couldn't really see in, but you still could. They weren't that serious about it, but I guess, you know, they had more onlookers. But before that, you guys, I was walking down that street, and Jesus told me this is true. I saw the four of them frolicking in the backyard with a campfire, and they had like a tent, and this is when they were like all friends, which, you know, they've told me Megan is dark reptilian, so that friendship wasn't going to continue. But anyway, so guys, last night Freddie was like poking me, like having me go onto Google Maps, look to see where his apartment is. And guys, it is, so on that road, his apartment was right to the right. And was just explaining how he and I experienced the same thing, because I was experiencing a loneliness because I just, you know, on layovers, if you want to exercise, you know, most of the crew goes out and has fun, goes to dinner and all this, and I really wanted to exercise. That's a whole story for another day, but I was, you know, for my health. And then I kind of got hooked on this routine, and I would go to Whole Foods, which was right across the street. And that, you know, that's right where he lived. He lived like across the street from Whole Foods. Just, you come out of that park, and if you continue taking a right, that's where his apartment was. And it's, you know, I looked on Google Maps, it's very nondescript, and he said, yes, that was done on purpose, and people didn't bother him. But this is the clencher, guys. It's like, he said he took those same walks, and he did it at night like I did, for just privacy, for peace. Plus, you know, we got into London later, so I had to sleep and all of that. So he said we experienced the same feeling, the same walk. And, you know, I wasn't fully a medium talking to them, but I could feel this, and I could feel like you know, I would get messages, but I didn't know 100% what it was. And, you know, I got the message like, look in the backyard, and they said that's the four of them. That's Megan and Harry and Will and Catherine, and they're all getting along. And they made me make a note of it. And, you know, I would look at these embassies, and everything was so familiar. The trees, where the moon sat, like everything. And Freddie's like, I went on that same walk and no one bothered him, because it's like, you know, you wear dark colors and dress a certain way. And, and this is terrible to say, but towards the end of that journey of me flying, like, they want me to tell you, I was laying over in London, and I had never experienced this before. I started to have, like, I started to get followed, talked to, threatened by some, and I'm Middle Eastern, he's Middle Eastern, so this is, you know, I don't mean, but it was by Pakistani men. And it was getting a little scary. So I started to really dress down, like really. I would wear this black or navy, you know, I'm wearing a navy sweatshirt now, but I don't dress like this all the time. But I would wear this like dark sweatshirt, dark sweatpants, and darker sneakers, and you know, like a dark blue hat and a scarf, And I didn't realize, and I started wearing stuff like that in New York, and Freddie and Jesus have been talking to me, and for a while I didn't know it was Freddie, just harping on me about fashion, because it was starting to really get me down, but I was wearing that to protect myself. And people dress like that in New York so that they don't get robbed. And then I started dressing like that in New York. Like when I would go somewhere, it's like to pretend that I was just on my way to the gym. So it looked like I had nothing on me. No, and I tried, you know, I kept the bare minimum on me, like in an inside pocket, one credit card, no phone, stuff like that. So I'd go to places in New York and it would just look like I was, you know, going to the gym. The same thing in London. But Freddie and them were laughing at me. There was a couple of times where I had to ask like someone on the street something. I don't know. One time I asked this woman about some change in my hand, and she went to give me money. She thought I was homeless. And so that's happening, guys. And Freddie says it's happening more in London, and in New York, this is like just the way that it's gone down. And Jesus and Freddie is big into fashion. I used to be really big into fashion. I'm getting more into it. And I know in England and America that it's become synonymous with materialism. But Freddie's saying, no, it's a part of who you are. So, you know, Freddie's been talking to me about that. I thought it was really funny. Freddie wrote, like, if it's getting crazy, if the reading's getting crazy now, tell your people, like, enough. Like, the audience, like, you guys, I'm not a news channel, and Freddie's saying, like, culture is losing its individuality, and yeah, that's enough. So again, I wrote about the loneliness, autism, family life, survival. He learned to play the piano with his relatives. That was fated. He started a band. And this is something we have in common. We both were born with 4 extra teeth. He kept his. I just saw, like, Freddie moved over there. It was like a flash of light. I knew you were going to, be careful, Freddie, my back. I knew you were going to surprise me. My neck, too. That's not funny. Okay, he thinks it's funny. So he kept his 4 teeth. Me being an American girl, mine were taken out. I was given braces. And then this is a really funny thing. So Jesus has told me this. So mine were taken out. I was given braces. And then I ended up having like big spaces in my teeth, and I had bad dental work done. This will be a story for another day. They really want me to come on and talk about bad dentists, and how that's just unregulated. So, and he's saying our dentists are, you know, have in the past been more advanced than England, but they're catching up. Anyway, this is just for everyone's protection, but they're talking about my teeth. So then I ended up with spaces, and then I got my wisdom teeth, and I just used them as regular teeth. They came in as regular teeth, and that was their gift. Okay, so we have that. But he, unlike me, his teeth helped him sing. He had a 4-octave range. He's been known as the best frontman of all time, as a few of these galactic beings have been known. So he's talking a little bit, I wrote a little bit about the movie with Rami, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Rami Malek, who is Egyptian. So, and coincidentally, not coincidentally, but connected, Rami is a Christian Egyptian, so that was tough for his family. They moved to California. Rami is Pleiadian and Arcturian, had the same issues, felt different as a child, got into acting, was isolated. So they, we talked about that. And Rami is in the spiritual child group of Archangel Metatron. Now remember, I told you this group connects down to Earth. So these are God is a whole entity, which I can't explain, but connects to Jesus, who is an elder, connects down to Mother Mary and Father Joseph, who are elders, and Sandalphon and that whole group, Michael, these are all the elders. And then it goes down, there's children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and then it just goes down, and some people are just Pleiadian, there's a mix, and it goes all, down and down, and it starts at the 12th dimension coming down to Earth. And Jesus is saying this, it goes from 12 to 7, the galactic dimensions, and it's incredibly complicated. It's like sacred geometry. So but I'm trying to just explain it a little bit. So Freddie approves that movie. He's like, I'm getting bored, darling. He took out a cigarette. I'm sorry. This is your words. You're a jabberjaw. So his favorite song of Queen is Bohemian Rhapsody. And I wrote mine because I knew I'd forget. I wrote mine. My favorite was We Are the Champions and Under Pressure with David Bowie. And he's like, yeah, I love that too. And he wrote 12 of the 17 songs with Queen. And like I said, it was all a collaboration with this group. So Mary Austin, his girlfriend for a while, she is in the spiritual child group of Mother Mary. She's Pleiadian, soulmate, like I said. And I wrote down, Freddie said that he and Jim, had they not contracted AIDS and passed away, they would have really started to take care of themselves in that whole 80s fitness movement. Now he's just wearing all gold, like an Elvis outfit, with a V-neck and gold wings, and he's sparkling, and he's just flying. Now he's over here. He's looking out the window. It's like, nice view. You got a view of the, He's saying you have a nice view of the East River. Yes, I do. Thank you, Freddie. He's like, I know you want to go on. He's calling me a nerd. I know. The video's taking a long time. He's like, I don't care. He's got a cigarette. Under pressure. Now they're all singing. Under pressure. Watch that video, you guys. That was that video makes me cry. They show like the Great Depression. Ooh, you guys. They're tearjerkers. It's part of their mission is to get us, to feel these things and to remember. He's like, oh, I gotta get serious. The dark reptilian energy is what caused AIDS. And like I said earlier, like I've said, when Jesus came, he wasn't trying to make everything into a commandment. You can't do this, you can't do that, and you'll go to HE double hockey sticks, the finger pointing. It wasn't that. It's just that the dark reptilian energy comes through us through temptation, and it got to and took out Freddie through the temptation of sex. And Freddie often, he said didn't really confuse. He's like, I'm a man. He didn't confuse sex and love, which a lot of starseed women do, being feminine energy. It's that he's saying like this is common with galactic beings. It might be something you experience. He could feel someone's soul, their highest being, but oftentimes he wasn't dealing with exactly who they were. He frolicked with that guy Paul, his friend, who screwed him over. He's like, in more ways than one. Yeah. So, and he's like, darling, we don't need to harp on this. And I'm telling you guys, so now we're talking as one. We don't need to harp. We don't mean to harp on this. We're just trying to help. Like not harping on Paul, just using him as an example. But this is something that was there in his time to get him. Not like made for him to get him, but just something that was there, like substances or, that was his Achilles heel. And that's where we'll make a video about that. All of these expressions and everything have meaning, but that's how the dark reptilian got to him, through sex. And he got so into that because of his past pain, the loneliness, and it was a connection. He really craved connection. And, he got into that lifestyle and just stayed too long, and that can be an autistic thing too. It's just not knowing when to leave the party, getting stuck in ruts, and he was stuck in a rut. And then you just have one dark reptilian telling you, like, he's saying like a common thing with autistics, ADHD, neurodivergent, galactic beings, empaths, starseeds. An issue is like, sorry, I'm trying to put it into words. It's like, having trouble with transitions, and then that makes you stuck too, like just not knowing how to get from one place to another, not being able to make that transition, to make the moves, to executive function, making those plans. And if you just have someone holding on to you, lots of star seeds, galactic beings, empaths, whatever you want to call it, guys, because there's variations. So if you feel like you are this, they're just saying that you can really have a hard time like breaking up with someone. If there's, and someone can play on your heartstrings and manipulate you, and you can have a tendency to feel overly responsible for being part of a team, a group, a relationship, a friendship. And so that's really, my team has, I'm not the only medium, intuitive. They're connecting with watch, the narcissism channels, the intuitives, the chosen people channels. They're really helping our group with these issues. So Freddie wanted to talk about AI. So he says it's good for calculating healthcare records. It's not good for music, guys. So it can steal creativity. And he got really mad here. He said there's a timeline where, as humans, there's 50% fated. 50% of what goes on here on Earth is fated. 50% is free will. So there is a timeline with humanity of this AI getting so bad. Going back to the idea of jealousy and, they've told me dark reptilians and reptilians try to enslave galactic beings, try to extract their talent. And this is really making Freddie Mercury angry. And he's like, bloody copycats. The team too, they're just so disgusted by the copycats out there. Jesus has told me that I have 12 copycats that have copied some aspect directly from things I've said and done. And it's people who, for the most part of these 12, one actually has talent, the rest don't. No, three. They're correcting me. 3 have some talent, but are insecure, and then the rest don't. So I wouldn't care. The reason I'm talking about this and Freddie's talking about AI and copycatting is for you guys. They don't want for him music, for me mediumship. They don't want it watered down. They don't want you paying someone to read your cards or do mediumship who doesn't have the talent for it, isn't connecting. And also, so I believe it was maybe a year or two ago, I said, most people that I see, and I talked to Jesus about it, like most people I see that are coming out of the spiritual closet talking about this stuff, most of them are, you know, you can pretty much trust what they say, because they either are, that's their talent, or they're just expounding on talent. But now we've come to a tipping point. Thank you. We've come to a tipping point where now people are just blatantly lying. They're not intuitive. They're dark reptilian. So they're just watching channels like mine or other channels and just trying to pretend to be that. And so I just wanted to put the message out there, because you know, people are spending their hard-earned money on maybe someone who just seems very polished, because they're just maybe good at editing, and they're, you know, obviously if they're copying people, they sound good. So just put that message out there, because Freddie's really concerned with AI. And he said it might get to a point, there is a timeline where it could get to a point where people film themselves in real time creating things, creating music, just so that it's not stolen. They can prove, that's just so sad. He's like, oh, we're a long way from Wembley, like from 1985, just, you know, that concert. Try to watch that Live Aid concert, guys. There's no like fanfare. It's just like Queen did a great job in that video. It's just them singing and the crowd going crazy. He's like, that's how it should be. He doesn't mind like some extra lights. Oh goodness. So Freddie really got pissed in this. He was like, F you, like, you want to steal my music or her mediumship. He said, can we steal your family? I grew up with my family far away. Can I steal your family? Many reptilians are born into a family they become a group that takes care of each other. Can we steal that from you? No, we can't. Can I steal your pension that you get from your 9 to 5? Can I steal your peace? You have some peace that the galactics may not have, that I didn't have. I was constantly running, making music, constantly touring. Would you have liked it if I could just come and steal your peace? We are all given different things. You can't just go and steal unless you expect that to happen to you. He's pissed. He said, let's change the subject. Okay, so now I'm like, it's him to me. So he loves Lady Gaga. Just wanted to say that. She is a child of Archangel Gabriel. She's in the spiritual group. She's Pleiadian, she's Arcturian. And of course, she chose that name from Radio Gaga, and he's flattered and he loves her. So he would also like you to watch this channel called Rock and Mob. They do a lot of Queen covers. It's just, he had me look at them quickly. They're Eastern European. They're a group, very large group that covers a lot of really good music. And it's kind of fascinating to watch. Oh yes, and Lady Gaga sings that song, Judas. She's very connected to this team. And he wanted me to mention Cyndi Lauper. she's also a child of Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, and she's also Pleiadian and Arcturian, and so her son is a grandchild, and he just recently got in trouble in New York. They wanted me to just quickly talk about this. Well, we've been talking about this. He got in trouble. He was caught with a weapon and substances, and this team is saying like the substances are wrong. And I know that sounds crazy because they're not saying the weapon is, but he's in the rap industry and is protecting himself, and they don't want to see him mixed up in all of this, but they're also not judging him for protecting himself, and they don't want to get too into it, but he's talented, he's awkward. They think that he should play up more of his awkwardness. That's just a message. They think that these messages, just me saying them out, could eventually get to them. So sorry, I'm just reading this. Some of this I've already said because he's talking to me. He's talking about how in his life, in galactic people's lives, oftentimes autistics, ADHD, you know, everything I said, they are made fun of. They were teasing me about and showing me. They've showed me times where I've been naive or naivete. And they're saying that that's made fun of by reptilians, because reptilians are less vulnerable. And they've showed me the split usually happens like around 6 years old. And then as reptilians get older, they become more and more invulnerable. And starseeds tend not to, unless like they're really forced to, and then it's kind of pretend they can't. But he went on a rant, and yeah, he said people made fun of me, about me needing friends, love. I was a sucker, naive. He said, but really, why? He's like, why aren't you? Why don't you need people? And this isn't, you know, a rant, like, and you need people, but in a different way. He's saying like, galactics are very independent, like creating their own talents and things like that, where, you know, he's showing me reptilians live in these groups and literally rely on each other for, he's saying like every little thing, but then they turn to starseeds and say, you're needy and you need people. And he's saying my need for people's deeply sincere. It's love. Yours is a ride to the airport. Like, it's not love. Like, don't criticize. He's saying, I didn't criticize people like that. Don't criticize me. It's different. He's saying, okay, maybe that was a bit harsh. Talking for him, he's saying maybe that's a bit harsh. He's smoking a cigarette. You're like he's like a ranting like old lady. He goes, shut up. It hurt hurt him, and he's saying it's hurting me and my family, my kind. And you know, he's saying this more as a rant for galactics to feel better about who they are, and to stand up for and protect your sensitivity. Yeah, he was a savant. He could copy songs from the radio. It kind of freaked people out, like as a kid. He says, of course, darling, I suffered religious and ethnic persecution. Would I even be an archangel? Would I even be an archangel? That's how would I even be an archangel if I didn't? I'm sorry, I'm butchering the transition here. He said, darling, would I even be an archangel if I didn't suffer religious and ethnic persecution and loneliness? No, of course not. You would not be. Someday I'm going to tell you guys about my past lives and all of my persecution. I can't believe I'm here again. Yes, the songs he wrote, downloaded from the Archangel. And this is a message to star seeds. We can get lazy. And the loneliness, yeah, sometimes he would just have such inertia. Oh, okay. So the loneliness helped. Okay, so this is a huge message, guys. If you don't follow your mission, so mission is, I don't know how to say this. It can be, depending on who you are, more important than relationships, which are also extremely important in our life mission altogether. But if Freddie had a big mission, and someone like Freddie, or if your mission is needed and you get off mission, sometimes they will intervene, and your own higher self will intervene and take you out of relationships and put you into isolation so that you get back on track with your mission. Freddie's saying it's not a punishment. He felt when he was here that sometimes that could be a punishment because it would make him right. But sometimes it's a very important message that even if you do meet soulmates, he met a soulmate, his first girlfriend, and you meet your twin flame, don't get lazy, don't get too comfortable, continue your mission, because even if you're with your twin flame and you both aren't doing your mission, or one of you isn't, it can cause a breakup, and that will be the reason, because you're not doing your mission. And let that be a warning. So getting over the hump of inertia. He's saying, get in touch with your sassy gay male energy. Everyone has a little bit. Use it. And he said, be funny. He said, a lot of you, and he's saying this to me, I know we're in kind of a very sensitive, politically correct time, and I don't want to come on here and be like funny all the time because you guys won't take me seriously, but he's recommending just try to let your humor out more, try not to censor so much, and he knows it's hard, he gets it. He was a shy, weird child. Sorry, some of these things I've already said that I'm writing down. You said be careful. Dark reptilians stalk, guys. They stalk their prey. And I know this sounds very so substitute for the word narcissist. They stalk. They know who they want. They know who can help them get a come up, who can help them get to the next level. Be very careful, and very careful of how the energy or the person comes into your life. Really be discerning. As much as we've been just blabbing and you know, talking, like, this is very serious. And he's looking down with his cigarette. He's saying, like, this really ruined his life, and he doesn't he's like bipolar, going from laughing. He's like, yeah, but this is all very important. Yes, he's very connected to David Bowie, as we could see. Robert Plant. These are all Archangel musicians, so we'll talk about that at another time. I'm going to try to leave a couple playlists. Yeah, I'll definitely do that for him. One of the things that he was so worried about when he was here is that he never wanted his music to turn into Muzak. I don't know if that's still, he said Muzak. If that's how it came to me. That's an old term, like elevator music. Some of his songs have been in commercials, but yeah, he was really worried about that, and he's like crying, like, no. He hates that. You know, he's just a very big energy. He never wanted his music to do that. And he said he's got his hand on his heart now too. It's kind of like doing a play. He knows what he wrote and he's going along with it. He said a stamp was made for him, and it just warms his heart because as an autistic child, he collected stamps. Oh yes, he's talking about, so he's been with me and I didn't realize, like, until he introduced himself, because there's been like a list of souls, but yes, not last, I can't remember, last year, he's been having me buy military jackets, like spring ones, yes. So a couple years ago, I bought an army green one with a really cool design on the back. And then I bought a white spring military jacket last year, and it got stained, so I threw that away. And he just, you know, as a gift to me, he found a beige, like light tan. You know, I'm in New York. I don't want to be too bright, but like a tan military jacket. Because the clothes here, people are, not the tourists, but, and not even people who come in from the boroughs, like shopping, But the people who live here, the clothes are, like I said, very dark and heavy. So I don't want to stand out too much. So we compromised. And actually today I bought it. He helped me pick out a light tan military spring jacket. And thank you. He picked that out for me. So he said, pray to him for acceptance, of course, especially if you're in the alphabet community. And, you know, about that, I'm gonna make a whole video on that. Of course, Jesus and Freddie and this whole team accepts the alphabet group. Obviously, he was born to be bisexual. I've had lifetimes. I told you guys in my last video the lifetime where I was an American Indian spiritual leader, and I was bisexual. I was a man and my twin flame was a man. So of course, like everything else, sorry about the sirens, the dark reptilian energy got its paws. Claws, darling. He's saying claws. They got its claws on the group. And Freddie saying when he was here, he felt that he was a very advanced spiritual being, and he didn't understand it fully, but he got flack for not fully. He did support the alphabet community, but he didn't make stands about it, and he didn't make stands about politics. And in his heart, he knew of the fluctuations and how crazy things can get. But he does stand as an icon for the alphabet community, and he's proud of that. But he also can see the dark reptilian energy twisting the community and turning some of it into almost like a joke, and also using it for negative. Like he's saying, for instance, like men in competing in women's sports, things like that. That he said that goes beyond acceptance. He's the Archangel of acceptance. He said that's beyond acceptance. That's trying to take advantage, trying to have power. And that's what dark reptilian people do. That's what the dark reptilian energy does, is it tries to always have power over humanity, especially star seeds, especially anyone, going back to the original, what I said in the conversation, trying to diminish, trying to steal, he said, just say it, darling, say it how rough it is, trying to steal. Your language has become so soft. It's not protecting. The dark reptilian energy is trying to steal from you, trying to steal your success, trying to steal your energy. It will use any means. It's using the alphabet community to stand behind it, to steal others' moments, others' success, sports success. I'll make other videos about that. That's a big thing, guys. said, I'm about acceptance, not arrogance, not demanding, not entitlement. Again, so how stealing, why we're making such a big deal about it is now they're all in agreement. Jesus is talking. Jesus is saying, and Freddie's like, fine, just off to the side smoking. He's like, fake smoking, darling. I don't want cancer after having AIDS. Okay, so he's like, please, it's a joke. Don't smoke. Don't smoke. Please. Starseeds don't smoke. Freddie's interrupting Jesus. Oh. Jesus is just like, whatever. So waving his hand like swatting flies. Guys. So they're saying this is very serious, guys, because if this continues, just, you don't want unqualified people in qualified positions. Now they're talking about medicine and businesses. Like, you don't want, first of all, they're really into people, if you're reptilian, doing your life path. If you're a starseed, doing your mission. And please, if you're confused, go watch my videos about what it means to be reptilian compared to dark reptilian. That's a huge difference. But anyway, they don't want people off of their mission, off of their path, and it's dangerous. He said, say it, darling. It's deadly. Like, Joan Rivers is coming through. She's like, tell him. She's like, tell him. You know, she died because of malpractice. Just a simple procedure. So we'll talk about her at another time. But guys, it's very serious. Something really, really think about it. It's not just political. It's not one camp versus the other. These are very serious issues. And one more message from Freddie, and then we'll go, is it came out very strong. I wrote this down today. He said, I'm sorry, darlings, to tell you all. Many of you are turning into slaves. And if you don't believe me, he said, ask, are you allowed to have privacy in your life? To have class? To expect class from others? Cleanliness. Are you allowed cleanliness, health, and peace? He said, if not, darling, you've become a slave. And I hate to say it, it's very Cockney. He said it's the combination of his accent and mine. He said, darling, it's not necessarily about your social status. It's become an unfortunate cost of modern life, making things more efficient. Again, he wants to repeat. Are you able to have health? Are you able to take care of yourself without somebody impeding on your health? Are you able to have cleanliness, class, privacy, and peace? If not, he knows that you're not. They've all talked to me about this, they showed me walking into an Apple store and having someone shout out, like, what do you want? What kind of phone do you want? And other people butting in as if we're on, like, in some sort of group chat. And they showed me just a hospital, not a hospital, but a doctor's visit that I had at a hospital. And the nurse just shouted out my name, my birth date, what I was there for, and 20 people were there. So they're very concerned about that, and they want you to think about that. And with that, Freddie put out his cigarette very dramatically, and my whole team is coming in, and they're very warm. They want to give you a hug, tell you that they love you, tell you to please consider these things. They're saying you all have a lot of power. They just want you to think about these things. Chew on it. They're not asking you to go protest something. They're laughing. So anyway, guys, that's we're gonna wrap it up. I just want to say goodbye, Freddie. I actually didn't want to make this video tonight because I'm gonna miss him, but he said he'll be with me, and he said please pray to him, especially about anything that we've talked about. Especially if you're in the alphabet community, if you would like help with that. Pray to him about music, fashion, acceptance, and loneliness. And I'm gonna say bye, Freddie, I love you. And they're saying they love you all. All right, I'm gonna go, bye.